host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. We got you for the next 30 or so, and we continue along on this Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, with our 32 NFL teams in 32 days, getting you ready for the 2025 National Football League season. We have our third team of the American Football Conference West. Today, we will be breaking down the Los Angeles Chargers for the people, getting you ready for what should be an awesome 2025 in the NFL. Before we dive into anything National Football League or Major League Baseball related, we remind the people you can get The Rome Show wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search The Rome Show podcast. You can find the social media wherever you follow a social media handle. Just search The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1. It's on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Finally, you can comment on the show. Give us your thoughts, your opinions, your vibes. YouTube.com/12OZ or X.com/12OZ Sports. Not a full football show for the people today, okay? We will break down the Los Angeles Chargers in the first half, and then we will come back in the second half, and we will give you a few headlines in Major League Baseball, including the Boston Red Sox continuing their great play, the New York Yankees not continuing their great play, and the Miami Marlins doing something that they have never done in the history of their franchise. So, not all football today. That'll be the back end of this show, but the front end starts with the music. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. It's time for the Rome Show. 32 teams in 32 days, getting you ready for week 1 of the National Football League season. Here's how this works, ladies and gentlemen. We choose a new team every day, and we are going to break down that team from all different angles that we feel appropriate to give you the best idea of who they're going to be going into 2025. Once we finish a conference, then we will give you our predictions on how that conference is going to finish. We've only finished the NFC West so far, and today puts us 3/4 of the way through the AFC West. Without further ado, let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers, led by Jim Harbaugh in his second season alongside Justin Herbert, the 6th-year quarterback in the National Football League. A lot of question marks going into the season for the Los Angeles Chargers, and it's not because they weren't good last year. It's the exact opposite. It's what team is it? Because in 2023, before Jim Harbaugh took over, the Los Angeles Chargers were 5-12. Okay, so they went from 5-12 in 2023 to, under Jim Harbaugh's guys in 2024, to an 11-6 record, making the postseason. However, getting slaughtered by the Houston Texans in the AL wild card, 32-12. Okay, so we'll get into that in a second. But the turnaround year to year was big time under Jim Harbaugh. Now, the first question I have to ask is that real? Will that be 2025? Has the dust settled so much that it's not necessarily the same allure, the same excitement that can last you through a full season of going to 11-6. They're good. They're a good football team. I don't know how great they are. Let's take a look at the numbers really quickly. Then we'll look at the depth chart. They're coming back. They are bringing the number one defense back in terms of opponents' points per game from 2024. That is huge. However, that defense has lost a lot of players, including Joey Bosa, Poona Ford, Marcus May, and Asante Samuel Jr. Key in terms of making this defense as good as it was last year. They were 7th in pass yards and 11th overall in total yards. So when you look at 3 of 4 primary categories for the Chargers defense last year, they were top 11, top 10 in the league. However, 14th in rush defense, something that they need to improve upon. So the first question I have is, will the rookies that have joined this team on the defensive side of the ball be able to make up for what some of those veterans were doing last year? You still have Khalil Mack, but will rookies Jameer Caldwell and Kyle Kennard do it and pick up some of the slack of the Bosas and the others that have left? So that's my first question. Second question is the secondary, okay? You lose Marcus May, use Asante Samuel Jr., you add Dante Jackson and Benjamin St-Juste, plus a few guys in the draft. What's that going to look like? Okay, because for me, you had an average offense on the other side, though Justin Herbert might be an above average quarterback. Okay, so the defense, in order to have a resemblance of the type of season you had last year, the defense has to be the same, if not better. Because on the flip side, Justin Herbert has thrown for 2,100 plus yards in his 5-year career. Okay. In 2024, he had the best TD to interception ratio he's ever had at 23-3. All right. However, they've retooled his offensive line, and you kind of don't really know who's in his wide receiver room. You have Ladd McConkey, and then what's it going to be? Okay. So those are the two question marks on the offensive side. What's our offensive line going to look like? Okay. Who are we throwing the football to? And then finally, last year, this offense was 24th in the National Football League in rushing yards per game. They added Najee Harris and they added Omarion Hampton. Okay, I believe he was a draft pick. They retooled the offensive line, drafting Joe Alt and signing Mekhi Becton. Okay, do all of those pieces stick together? And do they make them a top 15 offense? Because last year, 11th in points per game, 20th in total yards, 11th in pass yards, and 24th in rush defense. That's not going to do it for you, okay? When you had a solid defense and you had an okay offense, you produced an 11-6 season and a 20-point slaughtering in the wild card. That tells me that if not much changes, okay, you're going to have a similar football team this year. Rather than being 11-6, though, as we know this works, you're 9-8, you're 8-9. And you're sitting there as a fan, you're going, I don't understand. We should be as good as we were last year. Well, first off, there's a lot of moving parts. And secondly, your head coach is building this team around a run game. That's what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. He wants to play gritty football. He wants to have a run game. He wants to be able to slug you. And that is not a 24th ranked rushing attack, right? And so that's where it really does start on the offensive side. Justin Herbert's clearly going to play good enough football for you to be able to have a chance to compete for the postseason. Then once you get there, that's a whole nother conversation. Is he good enough? Is the team built enough? What's our strength here? All those other things, but that's not our conversation right now. So in conclusion, okay, 2 years removed from a 5-12 season, 1 year removed from an 11-6 season with Jim Harbaugh at the helm for the first time, my expectations for the Chargers are to stay exactly the same, okay? You're in a tough AFC West having to deal with the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Raiders, okay? Now, I don't think the Raiders, as we talked about yesterday, if you missed it, find the Rome Show podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I don't believe the Raiders are going to be a major factor. But Kansas City, Denver, absolutely going to be major factors. So for this Chargers team, they need to come out the gate and feel like they have the same type of defense they had last year. It just can't take a step back. Okay, just can't take a step backwards. And they need to take a step forward with that offensive line and that running game, and a wide receiver has to step up. Okay, to finish. That's a lot of question marks. To finish. That's a lot of things that you're kind of looking at and you're going to yourself, is this team good enough? Was last year a fluke, or was last year who they really are? And with all that being said, I'm going to take the Chargers at 9-8 this season. I want to believe that they're good enough. I want to believe that they could be a team in the AFC that could compete for a championship. I want to believe all those things because I think Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. If you go back on the Rome Show podcast during the time of the draft, when the Miami Dolphins had the opportunity to draft Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa, I wanted Justin Herbert. Go listen to the audio. I've been a Justin Herbert guy since he was at Oregon. Okay, I think the guy is good, but he's in a franchise that has stayed idle for the existence of time. I mean, seriously, the San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers, have been in this world for the existence of my lifetime. They could be 13-3 every year. They could also be 3-13 every year. And it feels like we're talking about the same discussion. Really solid quarterback, really good in one area, atrocious in another area. This is the closest it's felt like to me to a complete team that Los Angeles has had since Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson were breaking NFL records. That's just a fact, okay? But for some reason, I don't have the faith that this team can be 12-5, 13-4. And part of that is history bias. And the other part of that is who they're playing against, what their conference looks like, and how good top to bottom the AFC is. But I believe if the Miami Dolphins had Justin Herbert right now, the Miami Dolphins would be thought about significantly different as a franchise than they do because they have Tua Tagovailoa at the helm. So give me the Chargers. Give me them finishing at 9-8. And I believe that's going to be good for 2.5 place in this conference. I don't know how good the Chiefs are going to be. You're going to have to tune in tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. so that you can hear my breakdown on the Kansas City Chiefs, which will complete the AFC West. Okay, so I'll save.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them. Yeah. Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.